Well, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm so glad that you caught me here tonight. You see, usually I reside up Route 20 in the Union Cemetery because I like to be near my husband, Fred. However, I heard there were big doings going on here tonight, and I always like a party, so that's why I'm here to see some friends. And then I'm going to go pass through Westfield Memorial Hospital. Why the hospital? Part of my story. Oh, how rude of me. Some of you don't know who I am. I am Renetta Joan McClaughry Evans. But those of you who knew me in Westfield know me better as Ree. Well, it was a rather convoluted journey for me to get here to Westfield. You see, I was born in Canton, Michigan, January 21st, 1920, and I'm the daughter of Glenn McClaughry and Georgia Hilliard. I started to learn about hard work very early in life because my parents owned a general store. So I often waited on customers, and sometimes I got to pump gas. Oh, I have some wonderful memories of my childhood. When I was 1 year old, my dad brought home a puppy for me. I was just walking, toddled over to the pup and said, "Boo." So of course that became his name, and he was to be my pal until he died when I was 17. And oh, how I shared my dad's love of baseball. All the McClaughrys cheered for the Detroit Tigers as we listened to games on the radio. In adulthood, I was an avid Chicago Cubs fan, especially admiring of Sammy Sosa. Over the years, my son-in-law, Rob Schofield, helped me accumulate quite a sizable baseball card collection, which my grandson Chad later enjoyed. Sadly, my parents' 1928 divorce and financial difficulties determined that my sister Dee, brothers William and Minor, and I would move in with Grandma Hilliard. With her kindness, our resilience, and regular visits from both of our parents, we siblings survived, indeed thrived. My love of reading, engendered by our mother, flourished. I mastered the E-flat alto sax, sang in the chorus, and participated in any school sports, which allowed girls then. This was pre-Title IX, remember. Graduating high school in 1937, I was on to Mercy College of Nursing in Detroit for a year, then to Ann Arbor for 2 years to fulfill my practicum. And what a vital tributary in my life my nursing career provided. Answering a 1943 call for medical personnel in World War II, I joined a contingent of Michigan doctors and nurses who would cross the Atlantic to care for our wounded. Little did I suspect at the time of my Army entrance interview that the handsome interviewing man would become my husband, Fred. But that's a story for another time. I wouldn't trade my war experience for anything, but I'd never do it again. The men who were brought to us from the front often suffered horrific wounds, and we could work and work to save them, only to have them die under our ministrations. More than once, I saw an exhausted surgeon fall across a dead patient and weep. Tragically, my brother William was killed on Guam. On a happier note, Fred and I were married in Wayne, Michigan, December 8th, 1944. I was discharged with the rank of captain in March 1945. Not too bad, would you say? Fred returned to his job at U.S. Steel in Pittsburgh, and I began mentoring nursing students. On January 28th, 1947, we joyously welcomed our daughter, Ricky Ree. Wanting a more bucolic location to raise our darling girl, we took an opportunity to move to Westfield, New York. We then were blessed with Donna D. on September 7th, 1949. I was able to stay at home with the girls until they were both in school, but then nursing called me again. I initially worked at Westfield Memorial Hospital with Dorothy Berry, who started the Gray Ladies there. In 1956, I took over the hospital's maternity department, and in 1980, I worked with Vera Townsend, who was the wife of the hospital's administrator, to set up and run the first surgical recovery room. She and I were quite a team. Over my years at the hospital, I acclimated all new nursing personnel, was the director of nursing, assistant administrator, and then lead administrator. However, the favorite aspect of my job always was patient care. So, when 1978 brought a threat of closure of our beloved hospital by the Health Systems Agency of Western New York, I knew I had no choice but to help to save the hospital. Colleagues Dr. Russ Elwell, Helen Stid-Barron, and I presented a united front. Helen describes me at that time as a force and speculates that my Army experience gave me fortitude and direction. She also says that my excellent rapport and good reputation with the health department helped greatly in our fight. Little did Helen realize at the time that the health systems fight was prelude to even more difficult challenges ahead when she again spearheaded a powerful campaign to keep our hospital viable in the face of New York State's Burger Commission, which called for our closure. Because of Helen's and so many others' efforts, Westfield Memorial Hospital continues its important work, just in different ways. In spite of some major disagreements I had with the hospital board of directors, I eventually rescinded my December 5th, 1980 resignation and remained there until retiring in 1982. So, my nursing shoes, which staff members remember hearing approach authoritatively down the hall, were put away. Westfield provided a wonderful life for our family, so I am happy that Fred and I, through various boards and committees, were able to help it flourish. Fred died in 1996. In 1998, a serious health concern prompted Ricky and Rob to invite me to live with them, and what a wonderful 7-year chapter that provided in my life. We traveled together, cheered the Bills, and I learned much about the Chicago Cubs. Unfortunately, a stroke necessitated a move to absolute care, but I was still close to my Westfield family and able to enjoy the holidays with them. Having savored a rich, full, and rewarding life, I died on October 2nd, 2008. It's been lovely to see you here tonight and to greet you and to tell you a little bit more about the area, and I hope you have a greater appreciation for Westfield Memorial Hospital, and that whenever you need us, you'll come by. Good night. Enjoy the rest of your tour.